Hello YouTube. Here I have a Lenovo Thinkpad X240 laptop to do an overview on for you guys. Now just as a heads up, this video is going to be more of an overview than a review. I have had this laptop for several days and I've done quite a bit of work with it, but this video isn't meant to be as in-depth and reflective as a review, as much as just an overview of the general impressions and my thoughts and feelings on this laptop. My semi-professional thoughts and feelings, I should mention. So to begin, this laptop will cost you around $850 or $950 from Lenovo.com directly. I actually picked this version up for around the $900 price tag several weeks ago. But mind you that Lenovo's pricing and the specific specs you get with this model are very fluctuant. They're not very static on the pricing and on what specific hardware you get with it. So there are a few bits and pieces of hardware specs that you may not be able to pick up yourself for a given price, depending on when and where you buy this laptop. But yeah, as I said, this laptop itself costs about $900 from Lenovo.com directly. Looking on their site, they do offer a very short range. It must have been out of stock of this particular version. But this particular version has an Intel Core i5-4200U, which is the dual-core hyper-threaded Intel CPU with a base clock of 1.6 gigahertz, which can turbo boost actually up to 2.6. So you can get the boosts of speed at 2.6 gigahertz out of the CPU if you need it. But a lot of the other models, the two models that are available right now, have the Core i3 4010U, which is a 1.7 gigahertz dual-core CPU as well. I'm not so sure about the turbo boost on that guy, but essentially, yeah, the hardware will fluctuate depending on when you buy it. It has 4 gigs of DDR3 1600 megahertz memory. To my knowledge, it does have a spare memory slot, so you can easily upgrade that to 8 gigabytes if you so please, for probably about $30 if you buy the chip yourself, which isn't too bad. 4 gigabytes isn't a whole lot of memory, especially considering the fact that we're in 2014 and at this point almost 2015. So not too impressive there, but you can upgrade that on your own for a very low price tag if you so desire. As far as the hard drive goes, it's got a 7200 RPM 500 gig hard drive. Capacity isn't too impressive, I know, 500 gigs, half a terabyte isn't super large for 2014, but it is a 7200 RPM revolution speed, which is actually pretty nice. A lot of laptops nowadays come with 5400 RPM hard drives, which are significantly slower. Also with that, it comes with a 16 gigabyte solid state drive with as an M.2 format. This laptop actually has 2 M.2 slots to my knowledge, which is quite interesting, especially considering its size. One of which is occupied with that 16 gigabyte SSD that uses for caching, like the OS startup files and whatnot. So there's more upgradability there, although not all versions come with a solid state drive. As I'm looking online right now, some of the models come with exclusively a solid-state drive, whereas some come with a hard drive with a smaller M.2 solid-state drive for caching, so that really depends on what version of this laptop you buy. Now, it must come with Windows 8.1 preloaded, but this version I managed to pick up with Windows 7 64-bit preloaded. That cost me $50 extra, but considering the fact that if you buy this laptop with Windows 8 and downgrade, in quotations, to Windows 7 on your own terms, it will cost you more than $50. So if you can buy this from Lenovo directly and get Windows 7 for $50 more, that's actually a pretty good deal, especially considering the fact that you are effectively getting Windows 8 and Windows 7 with this laptop if you buy Windows 7 on it, just that Windows 7 is the one that's preloaded. So you can upgrade, in quotations again, to Windows 8 if you so please without having to buy a license to that, as far as I know at least. Now, as far as the wireless goes, the versions online have Intel single band, nothing too fancy. I don't know if that supports wireless AC 5 gigahertz. I don't think it does, so wireless A, B, G, and N. Comes with Bluetooth 4.0 support, so you can sync this to your Bluetooth devices if you so desire. The base warranty is a 1-year depot or carry-in. I picked this one up with a 2-year depot or carry-in warranty. So yeah, that's it as far as specs goes. Your battery should last at least 4, maybe 5 hours, depending on how you use it, if you're not doing anything super fancy. So yeah, that's enough of specs. Now we'll go into the aesthetics and design of the laptop. So when I first unboxed this, I was surprised by the small size. It does have a 12.5-inch screen, which is a 1366 by 768 resolution, which isn't super high resolution, but considering the size of the screen, your pixel per inch count is going to be pretty nice, and you're going to get a pretty good looking screen out of this guy. But yeah, the laptop is rather small. I actually have my 15.6 inch Lenovo Y510P here, and if you put the two side by side, you can see that the Y510P is quite a bit bigger, and although it itself is not very big, and yeah, this is my other laptop, much bigger than the 12.4 inch. That's just to give you some perspective there with the relative size of this laptop. Now, I'll go into the ports and stuff now. Let's see. First off, you've got your standard Lenovo rectangular power connector. This is a new feature of the newer Lenovo laptops. They used to use the circular connector to my knowledge, but now they moved to the rectangular. Doesn't really matter though. You got your VGA output, good for analog displays. USB output, mini display port, which you can adapt to normal display port, DVI, or HDMI, or even some other things with multiple adapters if you want. So you can run two monitors off this thing at once, one analog, one digital. Got an Ethernet port, SD slot, USB port, and an integrated audio input and output port. Now, as far as the keyboard and trackpad goes, I find both to be pretty satisfying. The keyboard has a nice backlight to it, which you can toggle by hitting function spacebar between off, medium, and high. I do like that feature, very useful. The trackpad's actually pretty good. A lot of PCs nowadays tend to have pretty crummy trackpads, but this one doesn't feel dissatisfying at all. It doesn't really catch your finger too much. Your finger can easily glide across it, as long as you don't have sticky fingers, of course. So it's pretty satisfying. It's a pretty precise, easy to use trackpad, which unfortunately is not a common feature for a lot of laptops nowadays. And you can tap to click on the trackpad, or you can push down. When you push down, the entire trackpad, as you may be able to see, actually moves up and down with your finger, which is actually kind of nice. It gives a very satisfying feel to it. So there's that. And you can also change your volume, mute, unmute, volume up and down, brightness up and down, although for some reason the brightness little graphic thing isn't working for some reason. That seems to be a problem with a lot of Lenovo laptops. You have also have a function button to connect to a projector, turn Wi-Fi on or off, some other interesting things there. So that's pretty nice. It has good design integration. Wouldn't make it too difficult to, up your volume or brightness or whatever else. So there's that. There's the general overview of the specs and the aesthetics. I should actually show you the upper part of the laptop. Nothing too special. Kind of basic looking right there. And the underside also looks like the standard underside to a laptop. You got your battery, which slides off pretty easily. You also have a docking port, so if you want to get a dock for this, you can. And the entire underside is one piece, which is kind of nice for looks, but if you want to go ahead and just upgrade your memory or just upgrade your wireless card, it does make it a little bit more difficult because you have to remove the entire bottom of the laptop versus just the respective port. So that's actually most of what I have to say about this laptop. As I said, it's more of an overview and general impressions and a review. But as far as general speeds go, it does do pretty nicely. I can go ahead and do a boot test for you guys if you want. First, I can show you how fast or slow it shuts down. It's really not too bad. I think it's pretty good for the specs. A lot of business laptops out there nowadays are very expensive, so for the price tag, this laptop is pretty decent, and that 16GB solid state drive does do a good job to help speed it up. So if I go ahead and start up right now, I'll go ahead and show you how quickly it boots up. So there you have it, not too fast, not too slow either. But one important thing to mention is that the 16GB SSD, as I've talked about multiple times, does help with the computer not being slow once it starts up. Because a lot of machines out there won't start up very slow, but once you hit the desktop, your icons will take forever to load and it'll just act very sluggish. This laptop, once it does get started up, is pretty snappy off the bat. Not the absolute best I've seen, of course, but it doesn't slug too far behind once it actually gets to your desktop. It's pretty snappy to start using it. As with other laptops, you usually have to end up waiting for quite a while for your hard drive to catch up, which you don't really have to worry about with this guy because it does have the SSD. So overall, I think that's really all I have to say about this laptop in this overview. I would say that it is a good deal, good laptop, good portability especially. Just show you the charger now that I think of it. Very small charging that makes it very compact and easy to move around as well. Good trackpad, good keyboard. You won't have to find yourself using a mouse in order to get around the crummy trackpad, because the trackpad is pretty good. So overall, I would recommend it if you're willing to spend the money on a business grade laptop. Obviously, it's not a high performance gaming laptop of any sorts, but if you have business oriented needs or just want a portable laptop with a good battery life, I would definitely recommend this. So that's all I have to say. So thank you guys for watching, and I hope to see you in my next videos.